So I invite Mrs. Marsha Hinds Layne to speak to you this evening. As I said, she's a social activist, a woman of great knowledge. And when you hear her speak, I am sure that you can gather information from her that will help you, whether it be in the sphere of education or in aspects of social and political life. Please give her a warm welcome, Mrs. Marsha Hinds Layne.
Greetings. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for having extended the invitation to me to be a part of the People's Assembly. I want to say thank you to the Leader of the Opposition and her team for having me here. I have to start the presentation tonight by making a disclaimer, because in my island of Barbados, things that were normal and things that were desirable are now problematic. So at one point, it was fine for Barbadian people to be passionate. That was a part of who we were. We did everything we did with flair. We did everything we did, and we had people for miles looking at us. That is what we are known for. That is the part of our culture. But all of a sudden now, under Frondell Stewart, passion is treason. So when I heard George Bell the other night talking, when I heard him guiding me as a young person, he was somehow treasonous. When I heard Reverend Morris talking, explaining some of the things that have gone wrong in my society, he was reckless. I have to tell you before I start my presentation, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a passionate woman. We have never complained about that in Barbados before. And I am not afraid I will be passionate tonight. That is my nature. All I am asking you is that whatever happens, wherever I go, bring me some books and some cigarettes. I'll make it. I want to talk about 3 things with you tonight. But I turn my presentation on its head because I don't want to leave out the solutions. So I am going to put my 2 solutions on the table first and foremost. But it doesn't make sense talking about solutions without talking about leadership and political structures. So I also want to touch on that a little bit. And then finally, I want to leave a rallying call with the people of my generation who are in this room and who are outside this room, who love this country as much as I love this country. But the solutions first. Let's get the easy things out of the way. When people talk about solutions, they make it seem as if it is something that has to be new. But if there are things on the table already that make sense, you have to start with those things. You have to understand the sense of those things. So I am going to tonight make a call which has been made several times before in several different quarters. We have to reform our educational system in this country. It has to be done. People are asking for solutions as if Barbadians have not always engaged in finding solutions to the problems that we have had. It does not take Frondell Stewart, Donald Innes, Esther Carter, or any of them to tell us how to build solutions. We have been doing that for years. I cannot call her Esther Bayasuku because she's a Christian. And I have to help her to be a good Christian by helping her to tell the truth. She's Esther Carter. And that is what I have to call her. Everybody knows that one of the achievements in my life is being the mother of 4 beautiful children. I don't hide that. I'm so proud of it. So proud of it. One of my sons did the common entrance last year, and he passed for Queen's College. One is doing it again this year. I told you I'm a passionate woman. 2 children, one after the other, common entrance. The one that is doing the common entrance this year always has had better marks than the one who passed for Queen's College last year. But he probably will not go to Queen's College. Not because he doesn't have the marks, because the child cannot handle the pressure. So from the time he went into class 3, his marks took a dip. and we haven't been able to get him back out of it. We need to reform our educational system. The common entrance exam is a problem. If we are asking for solutions, let us start there. It is simple. 4,000 children sat the 11 plus last year. Between Queen's College, Harrison College, and St. Michael, there are 360 places. 4,000 children sat the exam. 10% of 4,000 is 400. We do not even have the space for 10% of the children who sit the common entrance to come out with a pass. And don't tell me that all the schools in Barbados are the same. I taught in this country for 8 years. They are not the same, and we know that. We need to reform our educational system to ensure that we are not writing off 3,640 children even before they sit down in a room on a given morning. That is change. That is change. That is a solution. My second solution. We have to change the sports sector in Barbados. We are talking about getting out of this recession. Nobody could bring me here to tell you anything about economics because I don't know nothing about economics. I start what I know. I know education. That is why they start. We have children in Barbados who every year put on some of the most fabulous athletics tournaments that we see across this island. What happens to them by the time they get 21? Where do they go? We have jockeys from Barbados ruling the Canadian circuit, ruling the English circuit. What mechanisms have we put in place to support those jockeys? We have people leaving Barbados and going into American college football, ruling the football. What have we done with our sports sector? We have a Ministry of Sports under a very short individual with one employee. One employee. The solutions are not hard to find. The solutions are inside of us as Barbadians. We know what we need to do. We know that the world needs more sport. We know that the world needs more culture. We know that we have good athletes and we have good cultural industry specialists. But what we need are mechanisms to get what we have to the world. So they asked me for solutions. So I sat down and I came up with those 2 solutions in 30 seconds. But my problem then in there, I had to ask myself, how do we get a change? Because if you're asking me for solutions, it means that we have to change some of the things that we are doing to get closer to where we want to get to. So how do we change something? Because there are some people in this country walking around with a strange type of rhetoric that you can do whatever you want to do in your house. Don't worry about what the government does. You do what you have to do in your house and we will get out of this miraculously. That does not make sense to this child of free education. The government, the political system is important in the process of change. It is necessary. That is why we have it. Change cannot come from the community level or the individual level in education. We have 71 government primary schools in Barbados. You hear them? Government primary schools. I can't get up tomorrow and tell them the curriculum is not right. The government has to be the one to make the policy so that we, the people, can follow. So how do we get the change? It means then that we elect a government and we expect the government to hold the hands of the people to get the changes that we need. So do not tell me that I can do what I want to do in my house and leave the government to tear down my country. That does not make sense to me. So we come to the Democratic Labour Party. And I have to be blatantly honest. And I have to now come away from the politics, come away from the solutions, and just tell you my story. Because in 2008, I was one of the people who walked the length and the breadth of this country asking people for a change. Correct, somebody know my business. Me and a woman called Alicia Dean. It is true. Walk this country. Not only walk this country, sat down behind doors, crafted a youth manifesto, crafted a ministry of family, crafted integrity legislation, crafted education reform documents, crafted every single youth march that you saw, the rallies with Luciano. Alicia didn't even get blamed for being Luciano woman. We did it all to bring the Democratic Labour Party government to office. We believed in the rhetoric that we had lived 15 years under Oinafa, and we had not known the Democratic Labour Party, so we should give them a chance. It sounded reasonable. There were some things that we were unhappy about, and we decided to give the chance. The day after they won the election, all of the numbers of the people that I was walking through Barbados, begging the people to vote for, I can't get through on none. Donald Innes, Michael Lashley, David Eswick, Esther Carter, Patrick Todd, Ronald Jones. I called everybody. I could not find anybody. You, the workers, are now experiencing what Alicia Dean and I experienced. Because at the end of the day, although I sympathize with you, I am not surprised. I have seen this played out before within the bowels of the Democratic Labour Party on home territory. So when you ask how Donald Innes or Dennis Kelman or any of them can look the workers in their faces now and tell them that their salaries cannot be cut because they have families, well, some people no longer even have a minimum wage, I am not surprised. I went through that after crafting the Ministry of Family. It is only obvious. I hear another rhetoric that I don't understand in this country. People talking about political appointees. And the political appointees only want money. If you come into a political party, you come because you have a contribution to make to your country. It is not what the Democratic Labour Party would have you believe, that everybody that comes to politics only wants to make money and be dishonest. Maybe that is what they see in the mirror, but that is not the reality for everybody. So when I was sitting down, hours, days, weeks, crafting speeches, getting home at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning after speaking on platform after platform after platform. I was not doing it to get rich. I was doing it for the Ministry of Family. I was doing it for integrity legislation. I was doing it for educational reform. I was doing it because I was a damn fool because I didn't get nothing that I was doing it for. To tell you tonight that those of you who are waiting for the Democratic Labour Party to come through for you are waiting in vain. The Democratic Labour Party is a group of ordinary people asking you, the people of Barbados, to do extraordinary things that they cannot even do. They want you to band together as a family. They want you to hold the hands of people who are coming home. They want you to open your hearts and your souls and help people in this country when they cannot even do it for the people who follow them. I want to tell you that the final straw for me was the day that I went to Donville Innes's office in St. James. I had my 2 eldest children with me, my 2 boy children. And I'm saying to him, Donville, this thing is not hitting the ground properly. The country is not happy. We need to do something. Don't ever say those kind of things in the Democratic Labour Party, because they do not like dissenting views. They do not like opposing views. They do not like anything other than yes, sir. So I went to his office and I said to him, I feel like a molested person. You've dug into my mind. You've taken my ideas. And now you have discarded me. It cannot be right. Donville Innes said to me, I'm not seeing any children here. But the thing that hurt me is not that he said that to me, because I am a passionate woman, so I might have heard those things in passing before. What hurt me is that he said it in front of my 2 boy children, and that was the breaking point for me. It took David Eswick 6 years more than me to realize that he is a comfortable, uncomfortable D. Because he says he's comfortable, but he's behaving uncomfortable. So he's a comfortable, uncomfortable D. When you curse me in front of my children, that is the end of the line for me. They will say whatever they want to say. I can get cussed. They could call me a ball pooch cat. That is not a problem. I can get cussed for being here tonight. That is not a problem. But let them know that the same things that I said to them, which were the solutions for this country in 2008, I am now willing to say to the Barbados Labour Party if they are willing to listen to me. I want to finally say to all of the young people in this country who in 2008 walked behind us, walked behind them at the time and begged for change. I want to tell you to look within yourself and ask yourself if you've gotten the change that you walked for. When I got my first job in this country, I was 18 years old. I didn't know nobody and nobody didn't know me. I went and I put my application in at the Parkinson Memorial Secondary School. I had 8 CXCs and an associate degree. I get a job. Now the Democratic Labour Party fuels every single application in this country through a parliament, and then want to tell you the people that looking for political jobs should go and find something else to do, and they shouldn't get vexed when they get sent home. Every job is a political job because that is how they have made it in this country. I was working in 2008, writing letters to the then Prime Minister Oinafa and telling him all about this educational reform and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Nobody never cussed me. Nobody never fired me. We were at variance on certain things, but it was never a problem. How come now as you speak out in this country, you are treasonous, you are reckless? What is going on with my democracy? The young people in this country have to wake up and realize we have the most to lose. When I bought my little starter home up there in the back of St. Philip, again through Oinafa, not that I knew him, but I would say through him, because he started the Barbados Mortgage Finance and told every single 18 to 65-year-old in Barbados, go and get a mortgage and get a house. And I did that. I did that. I didn't need any politician to do that for me. That is how this country was run. That is how this country country needs to get back to being run. When I first bought that little house, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 living room, but I was young, newly married, and happy as hell. Every day somebody used to knock at my door. I want to pay you $100,000 for this house. I want you $250,000 for this house. You want $300,000 for this house? The last time, the only thing I could hear about this house is, oh dear, this house needs a coat of paint. Nobody didn't want to buy the house. So at the end of the day, I cannot sit down and shut up. Because even if I leave, how am I getting back the money that is invested in that house? I do not want to see my country die. And I will speak, and I will march, and I will do anything I have to do to save my country. I want to thank you for the opportunity that you've given. I want to thank you for the opportunity that you have given me. I will stand with whomever listens to me. I will stand with a strong political and governance structure because that is what my country needs. I started out being the child of a St. Lucie family who was because I didn't know nothing else. I grew up in St. Lucie. But I told you, I now have a mortgage and a house and 4 picnics behind me. I have to open my eyes and I have to do what is necessary. And that is the message that I'm leaving to the young people of Barbados tonight. We have too much invested in this country, and this country has invested too much in us for us to let it down at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for entertaining me.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I told you, powerful women in Barbados who will stand up for what is right despite whatever the consequences.